studio setup here. I'm about to make some banana bread. My auntie Gina down in Orlando said that she likes to know a little bit about baking here, so I like to bake a lot, and I'm going to make some banana bread. So, we're going to start out with our clear little canister right here. Now, before I get into all that, banana bread is a lot of ingredients. Nothing to worry about, not too fancy, but it does mess up a lot of little plates and whatnot. So, we're going to start out with this little empty canister here. We're going to put our 1.5 cups of flour. Now, I'll give you the recipe in a little bit, but you can write that down. 1.5 cups of flour. I'm going to put that in there. And it also calls for some salt and some baking powder. Now, as far as the salt, we have 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Is that baking soda or baking powder? Now, that's baking soda, and I have baking powder. There's a difference. So we're going to have to come back to that. So 1/2 teaspoon of salt, we'll go right in this mix right here. And I'll show you a little something in a minute. I'll show you a little trick. Not really a trick, but it's a necessary requirement. Okay, there's our salt requirement. Now I'm going to have to put this show on pause for a minute and find my baking soda, because there is a difference between baking soda and baking powder. And we want this to come out right, so just hold on. Okay, the baking soda was playing tricks on me, and we need 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So I can do two halves or 1 whole, it doesn't matter. I'll save some dishwashing and I'll just do 2 halves. So, baking soda and baking soda again. Now, what you want to do is sift this together, because you want that baking soda and that salt to be evenly mixed in this flour, alright? You wouldn't want to mix it into the mix separately, because it wouldn't come out right. See? I need to preheat this oven too. You want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees for about 15 minutes. Because when you put this banana bread up in there, you want the oven to already be warmed up, okay? You don't want to mess around putting the bread in there and having to wait 50 minutes, okay? Alright. Have a little Adele playing in the background. That's my new chick. Alicia Keys was my first chick, but Adele is my new chick now. Alright. We have a flour, baking soda, salt, vanilla extract. You're going to have 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, so write that down. Now this Baker's Joy right here, I don't want this to shoot in my face, so I held it. Okay, we're going to just line our pan with some of this Baker's Joy. This is going to prevent it from sticking. Now you can use aluminum, or you can use this ceramic stone baking pan. I like this better because it prevents burning on the bottom of your banana bread. But this is so thick, it'll help you out. Alright, we'll cover that later on. Now, you need 4 bananas. If you notice, these bananas are pretty spotty, alright? You don't find these in the grocery store. Sometimes you might, but this is after letting them sit for about a week after purchasing, okay? Now you take those bananas, and we're going to put them in this pan right here. And we're just going to drop them in there, and we're going to blend these bananas up. Alright, nothing fancy. Again, there is no dessert. Well, there's some fancy desserts, but banana bread is not all that fancy. Very delicious, but not that hard to make. And again, this is from my auntie Gina down there in Orlando. I don't know if Uncle Tyler's going to help me with this dessert, but we had a conversation at the dinner table over there for Walt T services, and Gina was mentioning making desserts, and I told her I like to make desserts. So here's one of my desserts that I really like to make, and this would be a good beginning. Some banana bread. Goes well with dinner or breakfast, any time of the day. My hands are washed. Make sure you wash your hands. Okay. We're going to blend these bananas up. Now, I don't believe there's a certain amount of time to blend them up. We're just going to crush them up to where they look good together. And when I finish crushing these up, I'm going to bring this pan closer to the camera so you can see exactly how finely I crushed them up, alright? Alright here. Just listen to Adele for a second while I'm crushing these bananas up. see I'm wearing my Florida cap to represent. I might be in Maryland, but I always represent my home state. Now the bananas are almost mixed in here. I'm not looking for a puree, just to have them well blended. Not like baby food or puree, but just blend it up enough, alright? Because we're going to blend it some more. Okay, we're going to put that on hold. I'm going to bring these bananas a little bit closer here so you can see. I believe you can probably see by now the consistency. A little bit lumpy, but it's still mixed in there pretty nicely. Alright, heading back over here. Again, we had so far the bananas, 1½ cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a ½ teaspoon of salt, ½ teaspoon of vanilla, that comes later. We also have a ½ cup of butter. I like to use the Land O'Lakes sweet cream, lightly salted butter. It makes a difference. And 1 cup of sugar. And then we also have 2 eggs, and you have to beat them up before you add them to the mix. So you don't want to wait till you put them in the mix to beat them up in there. You want to beat them up first. We're going to take our ½ cup of butter, put it in the microwave, probably for about 20 seconds. And what we're going to do is let that butter get soft. We actually need one more dish because we're going to put this, we're going to have to cream together our butter and our sugar. And that's something that we have not done yet, okay? Let's get this butter out of there. Butter's looking good. It doesn't take very long to make banana bread either. We have a hidden trash can over here. So I'm going to discard my bananas, get them out of the way. Banana peels. Okay. Now we're supposed to cream together the butter and the sugar. So that's 1 cup of butter. I'm going to show you another trick here. This is something I like to do. Because I'm very particular when I make my desserts. What I don't like is lumpy sugar in my desserts. So what we're going to do here, put the sugar in there, and then we're going to strain that sugar. Because that way when I'm making my dessert, I know I'm making the best dessert, no clumps of sugar, sugar crystals. And if you see, I have about 8 sugar crystals in there that would have been mixed up in my dessert, okay? We have a visitor coming into the house. I heard the door chime. I don't know if that's my little Cambria coming in here or what. But I believe it is. Is that you, Cambria? We're doing a cooking show, banana bread for Aunt Gina. But I believe Cambria will come in here and show her face in a minute. I'm going to keep on cooking here. My directions say cream together your butter and your sugar. So I'm going to send this to you, Gina, but if you want to write it down, right now, cream together butter and sugar. So here's our butter and our sugar. And we're going to just cream this together for a minute. So you're going to need, let's see, 1, 2, 3, at least 3 separate pans when you're making banana bread. You're going to get this nice and blended together. And I can't say it enough, banana bread is not hard to make. It's just a couple of processes, but I have a little handy dandy cookbook here with all of my favorite recipes in here. And what I do is I just pull it out whenever I want to make something. And I'm starting Aunt Gina out with some banana bread. Don't touch my camera there. Now my audience here is little Cambria. Hope she don't mess with my radio, because that's my background music. I'm going to show you the consistency of the sugar and the butter as well. And I would like to do more FaceTime with the camera. But of course I have to keep my eyes on the prize, which is my dessert that I'm making. But that's the butter and sugar consistency. It looks kind of like mashed potatoes maybe, or maybe grits or something like that. But just to give you an idea up close on how it's supposed to look.
I can't see it.
You couldn't see it in there? My assistant says you couldn't see it in there. Can you see it now on the camera? Okay, here's the consistency of the butter and the sugar. Okay, we might even be on board now, because I have an assistant that might help me out. So maybe they couldn't see the banana mixture. Can you see it now? Come on now, help me out now. I'm getting kind of like a partial assistance from my assistant. Can you help me out? This is the consistency of the bananas that were well blended. Okay, I'm going to stop asking for her help because she's not really assisting me. Can you see it? Okay. All right. Okay. Now, butter and sugar mix, bananas, the flour with the salt, and the baking soda, and we're about in business right here. We need some eggs. Add my eggs to my crushed bananas. That's what it says. No, that's not. I'm recording. Now I'm going to take my egg, and I'm going to use the same cup that I use for my butter, so I don't make a big mess here. And I'm going to blend them just barely. See that? Get those eggs blended up. Okay. And again, add the eggs and crushed bananas to here. We kind of reverse the bowls around, but you'll get the recipe. But either way, I'm adding everything together. The eggs and the crushed bananas in here. All right? Along with the sugar and butter mix. Don't forget to beat those eggs before you put them into the mix. And we're just about done here. Just about done. It's kind of like pre-mixing and then one big mix. So, is there preset time how we're supposed to do this? We're going to add the vanilla after I blend this together. And it's not like a cake where you have to blend it for like 4 minutes or something. We're just going to blend it until it gets nicely mixed. Now this one I may not be able to show you, but the consistency of this really does not matter because our next one is the flour mixture. So we'll give this about 10 seconds. All right. Now, we're going to add our vanilla after we add the other one. I always thought we added vanilla earlier, but we don't. Now we're going to mix this. We're going to pour half of this mixture into the wet mixture. So half the dry goes into the wet. And it just gives it a chance to mix better that way. So that's about half the dry into the wet mixture. I'm going to crank out this little speed on my blender. Now I have walnuts over here. Some people are allergic to nuts, some people don't like the taste of nuts. It's kind of your decision if you want to put nuts in there or not. We'll put those in there at the last minute. And you can even sprinkle them on top just to give it a nice little coating on there. Now we're halfway done with that. We're going to put the rest of our dry mixture in there. So we're done with that one. And get my vanilla extract ready. I only use pure vanilla extract. There are imitations out there. I've never used imitation because why would you use imitation vanilla extract when you can use the real vanilla extract? That's what I say anyway. All right. We're going to shake those sides over there. Get this going. Now, the vanilla extract says a half a teaspoon. We have our half a teaspoon here. I don't need to mess anything else up, so I'll use that same teaspoon for my dry mix. Half a teaspoon vanilla extract. All right. Forgot what it actually does, but it definitely is a requirement for this banana bread. So here we go, blending again. My oven has been warming up for like 12 minutes now. So that's going to be right on time. My consistency of my banana bread is now ready to be poured into the pre-greased loaf pan. Now, there we go. I'm going I'm gonna take this pan and just pour that banana bread, but I do need to get me, well, I need a clean spoon.